we're live.
And we're there. We're live. Yay! We did it. We did it. We managed to be live once again. It's always so good when we're live. Welcome to another dry run. This is the Slumber Party edition. My name is Samantha Paige, and with me, as always, is my co-host and friend Autumn Rose. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi,
Stories
everybody.
of the Trans Witch. And today is a Slumber Party edition because we spent some time up in Kelso, didn't we?
Yes,
And
we did.
we're going to talk about that. And we saw the stuffy. We didn't get to have the whole stuffy in the whole time, but that's okay. Woohoo! But we're going to talk about the prom in Kelso. We're also gonna talk a little bit about Juniper Blessing, and a bit about some of the environment here in the Pacific Northwest. And we'll talk a little bit about essentially what is the great trans and non-binary migration that's occurring. I mean, that's what they called it in the 1960s or 40s with African Americans, the Great Black Migration, and that's essentially what we're seeing here. So we're going to talk a little bit about that a little too. Autumn, what do you want to add?
Um, we're also gonna have a tease for next week for us
Mhm.
covering Tiger Pride here in Oregon, so that'll
Yes,
be
we
fun
are.
to talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Um,
And then on the 21st, I'm proud to announce that I will be talking with Defends Trans on Substack, or excuse me, on Instagram and on TikTok. Laney will be here. She's on Substack also, but they will be here to have an interview for a few minutes and then answer some questions that people may have about trans and non-binary people. And I'm really looking forward to it. I really appreciate them, and I really can't wait to talk to them. So I'm excited about that. So please tune in for that. It'll be this Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern. And Autumn's going to be there too to help read comments. So that'll be nice. Hello, everyone.
Moderator.
Yeah. Hello. Welcome to another dry run. Yeah.
Hi, Julie. It's good to see you too. Thank you for the beautiful comments in our comment section.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. We don't have a movie to review this week because a lot of things happened, but most importantly, because we went to prom.
It was prom.
It was prom. And so to give you a little bit of background about this program, it's put on by PFLAG. Which part of PFLAG? The upper
It
or
was PFLAG Lower Valley and also
Mhm,
Rainbows. Oh my gosh. I
mm.
know they're with Wild Wings. Jeffrey
Yeah,
Ritchie is the founder of it, and
yeah.
I will have to put the comments in my notes after the show.
Yeah, good deal. And so we did interview a number of people. We tried out a new mic system. I think it worked. It didn't work well at the beginning, but it worked well in the end. And we interviewed some people. But because there were a number of minors present, because it is prom and it's geared towards high school students who maybe couldn't go to prom the way that they would want to, or who they would want to go with. This is a more inclusive and a more friendly environment for them to be out loud and be queer and be at prom. And because of the minors that were associated with this, we of course didn't take many videos from inside the facility. We wanted to protect their anonymity, and so we do have videos again, but they're outside, and we will be posting those. It was a wonderful event, like 80 to 100 people, and it was all ages, and it was just really a lot of fun to see everyone having such a great time.
And I heard that rumor has it there's some professional pictures of us floating around
Oh
somewhere.
yeah,
So that I'll be
yeah. I mean, it was it's volunteers, and one of the individuals who was kind enough to volunteer at the time was a photographer, and they had set up uh, a photographer room that had like a booth, like you have it at prom, and volunteers put together the decorations, which were these gorgeous macrame swans, and they were hung, and it was just rainbow pride colors, everything, and. It was beautiful, and then this photographer volunteered their time to take pictures of anybody who wanted the pictures, and they're free to download from this individual's website. So we're not going to give that because some of them are minors again, and we don't really want to contribute to that. But we
stay
will give
tuned
him a
for the
shout
radio
out
show.
later in the notes. Anyway, uh,
Yeah, we're also going to be featuring it on one of my radio shows, so that'll give you an opportunity to come over and check out Stories from a Trans Witch on KXRW as well.
yeah, yeah, and so there'll be much more in depth reporting regarding that. But we're just talking about the experience of what it was like, and because I didn't get to go to my prom. Autumn,
I didn't go to prom either. This was amazing. I kind
yeah.
of lived it as if I was doing prom for the first time.
Right, so we did it out. You looked amazing. I got to wear my for the first time, I got to wear my Donna Karan little black dress, which has been hanging in my closet for a very long time. We got little tiaras, which were cute too. And so, and we didn't take a limo, which we probably should have, given that I had car trouble on the way back. But
Never give me an opportunity to show some legs, so we were good.
yeah, there you go. Yes, yeah. But it was really nice. We had a really good time, and again, this we had a friend who made an assumption that this was an adults event, and made assumptions that we were going to be like partying all night, and we were, but it was this was an all ages event. It was geared towards the kids, and and the fact that they've been putting this on for years is really amazing, and that they would get. I mean, we had at least 100 people at one point. I know there were 87 was the head count that they did, but and it was parents, kids, older couples who maybe didn't get to go to prom. There was a wonderful the king and queen that I saw get crowned were two gay men who were probably in their 70s, and it was wonderful to
And they
watch.
kissed, and there was absolutely nothing wrong with it, folks.
Yeah, exactly. It was just a really sweet moment. And they had a live band, and the live band was from the high school. They were all kind of like high school aged, and it was just they played a lot of good tunes, and it was a
That
lot of
lead
fun.
singer, like, straight out of the '70s, like,
Yeah.
fit the
Yeah.
role.
No, no, yeah, it was like, he was, channeling, from the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger.
Yes.
It was really fun. Um, and they all had, a queer or non-binary component to them. So Autumn, can you maybe, hopefully I'm not putting you on the spot here, but tell me a little bit about PFLAG. What is PFLAG?
Oh, now let's pull up the image so we can actually sponsor them.
Yeah.
I wanna find our actual chapter.
Okay. So as we go to the Dr. Google for the information that we need, we're going
Look,
to talk a little bit about some of the organizations that are here in this area, because that's one of the issues with regard to the migration that's occurring across red states into blue states, primarily Minnesota, Colorado, California, of course. And Oregon and Washington are having major influxes of trans and non-binary or gender non-conforming people, and from primarily Texas, but this way at least, and more are anticipated. And there are only so many resources, there are only so many charitable organizations out there for queer and trans people. And what's happening, at least in the Seattle area, is that they're seeing so many requests for assistance that they are considering tapping into the city's emergency fund. Which they had already tapped into previously due to homelessness, and which is still open because of that homelessness issue. But this is just another example of a lack of possibly preparedness by some communities for the fact that waves of us are moving, an enormously alarming number of us at this time, and and I think it would be very important for targeted areas such as Colorado or Washington or Oregon to possibly be prepared for this influx, because the last thing that I would want anything to happen would be the charities get overwhelmed, and then people are, unable to receive any assistance or help. So I'll get off my high horse there, because we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But I think Autumn has her answer.
So PFLAG as a national organization was founded in 1973. It stands for Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays.
Okay.
Now, let's keep in mind this was 1973, so trans, intersex, and topics like that weren't mentioned as much in the headliners of an organization. But I can tell you, I have worked with this
Mhm.
branch of the organization since November of last year when we did Trans Day of Remembrance, and just an amazing group of people. So I'm gonna give us a chance to go to the bubble because Samantha always loves going to the
I
bubble.
love the bubble. We're going to the bubble.
And we can read a little bit about PFLAG here in
Go to the bubble.
Lower Valley.
Go to the bubble dance. Bubble dance. Woo. Let's go to the bubble. Yes. Oh, wow. It's a different bubble. We look different. They updated. Cool.
It is updated. Let me know if the screen stays with me
Oh,
here.
yeah, it is there, but it's a very small screen for looking. Well, it's fine. We're bigger. It's smaller.
So there you go. So they create a caring, just, and affirming world for the LGBT community. As I said, they were founded in 1973. It was by a mother and her gay son. PFLAG was born from the unified front of a family leaning and love, inspiring alliance of the LGBTQ people and their loved ones continue to fuel P Flag 50 years later.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a little brief summary. I highly recommend, like I said, check them out. They're an amazing organization, especially anybody in the Washington area.
Mhm. Yeah.
And um, yeah, sorry, lost train of thought there. It's
No,
it's
no.
it's the after prom hangover.
Yeah, the after prom thing, yeah. Because we made a whole weekend of it, obviously, because we were doing it up. So we had the slumber party, and we had movies, and we watched, a couple of TV shows, and we had pizza, and, I made pasta.
And I think it was on the show that I was absent, but I remember you and, Onyx Rose talking about weather in the PNW and how it
Oh,
never rains here. And
no, that's not what I said, but go ahead.
oh, well, it was laid out as it never rains in the PNW. We don't need umbrellas, and tell me why all day yesterday it was just raining cats and dogs in Vancouver, like, I
Yes.
I was looking for a, ark somewhere.
So the actual statement is that it doesn't rain like pregnant raindrops like you have in the Midwest here. It's sort of a spitty sort of rain. I did caveat that by saying that, but sometimes it does really rain, and it did. But the thing is that I also bragged about the fact that we don't use umbrellas here. That we just are one with the rain. No, 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 no. We can escape the wetness, which is not true at all, and I demonstrated that. But Autumn made sure to give me crap about the fact that she wished she had an umbrella the entire time. And the thing is here's why I don't like umbrellas. And not that it matters, but here I'm going to go off my high horse again and say, because then you have to care for them the rest of the day. So you might need them for 15 minutes while the weather's bad or while you're walking up there, but then you have to keep track of them everywhere you go for the remainder of the day. Um, they should be leave one, take one or something. I think they do have that, don't they?
I mean, we have everything else, leave one, take one in the Portland area. I mean, why
Right?
can't we have umbrellas?
They should be like, they have the Lime scooters and next to it that have a bucket full of umbrellas or something. I don't know. Anyway, I don't like them because I have a hard enough time caring for my purse sometimes or where my head is. And so to have another item that I have to worry about and whether someone will trip over or fall because I haphazardly put it up against a stool or something, I'm just not for it. But anyway,
I was actually complaining about the purse issue to my sister, when I got home today. We were talking a little bit, and I was like, the hardest thing at prom was I actually downgraded to a purse versus my normal backpack I carry,
yeah.
and I got, like, a few pieces of makeup and my wallet in there, and if I was lucky, my phone. I was
Mm,
like, "No, I have to have my backpack, like, purse is not a thing."
yeah.
So I can respect that.
I think I've seen some really cute backpacks. I think that they are really functional and really cute, but I like my handbag.
See,
It's just a preference.
we could get you, like, a, custom sheath from One Piece and
Ah,
put it on the back of a backpack bag, and then you'd be
ah.
more inclined to carry an umbrella with it, just saying.
I didn't even think of that. I introduced Autumn to One Piece, over the weekend, so we watched a little bit of that, and so now she's all on board with the pirates, so yay.
I've always been on board on the pirates, come on, I'm already on pirate radio.
Okay, well, there you go. Alright, we have comments, and I can't read them, and I really wanna read them. Could you mind reading
Sure.
some?
Yeah, I got you. So Julie says, I didn't get to go to prom either.
Mm,
I'm so sorry, Julie, but I would recommend checking out in your local area. I know there's other events like this that go on in other cities. So
mhm.
you may still have a chance to go to prom and have fun. I mean, like I said, the couple we saw yesterday, they were a little up there in years, but they were still having a blast at prom. So.
Yeah, and they were dancing, and everybody was just out there dancing. It was really cute. It was a wonderful event. I really enjoyed the experience.
And then Miss Yules said, sorry. I went my freshman year because all my friends were older, but I didn't
Mhm.
go to my senior prom. Yeah, I actually played hooky on my senior prom, so but that's just who I was back then.
Yeah, I did too. Um,
And then you have a request that I will let you read, but basically they're interested in having you on their live show, Coffee with Crone. I'm
oh,
Crone. It goes live on Substack Sunday mornings at noon Eastern Standard Time. I'd love to
mhm.
learn from you about being a crone from your perspective.
Oh, wow. Okay,
So,
DM me. Um, I like to talk about me, so, yeah, please DM me, and I'd be happy to tell you anything you wanna know. But I know I appreciate that. Thank you very much. That's very kind. Um
She also included a link in there so you can check
Oh,
out.
then I'll look at that. Can you copy? Because somehow can we? Well, we'll figure that out.
I will add it to notes before we end the live.
Thank you. Thank you, honey.
Julie also
Mhm.
said it's so weird here. People don't use umbrellas for real. I am gonna boycott and I'm gonna start a petition. I'm just gonna go out there with my little bubble umbrella I have and start a petition that we need to use umbrellas in the PNW.
Okay, as long as it's Hello Kitty, then I might sign.
I mean,
Uh,
it's actually a really cute, like pink reflective. It almost looks like rainbow effect from a distance.
Oh, wow. Well, that sounds yeah, no, I yeah. I'm not uh, I just oh, no, I lost an autumn. This happened before, and then I did my injection. Speaking of which, I would like to humbly apologize for the fact that I called Feminems by the wrong, medication name. I'm embarrassed by that. Uh, Autumn had dropped and wasn't able to be part of that segment where I demonstrated what my injection was and what my HRT medication looked like and how I took it. And um, I, 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 I apparently, but when Autumn finally saw it, she called me out on the fact that I was taking a steroid instead of my um, progesterone instead of prednisone. So um, that's a mistake. So I guess I'm just gonna have to demonstrate it again and get the terms right and have Autumn there for it for two. Let me see if I can get her because I'm never good alone. No one wants me to monologue ever. I guess I could read a poem or something, but HRT is something we have in common. Hi. Yeah. Hopefully you can promise some medication, but I just call it Feminems. I mean, when people ask me, I just go over the Feminems. I've never actually used the official name of it, even. Um, and I'm trying to find Autumn, and I can't seem to find her. So I don't know what I'm going to do at this point. Hopefully she'll tap in so that I could get her back on. Otherwise, I'll just bring anybody up because I, again, don't monologue very well. I don't know what to talk about. Um, if anyone has a question, I could answer a question maybe. I'll try and read it too. Let's see. HRT is something I have in common. Feminems. I love that. You know, the Feminems the titty skittles. Yeah. In community, there's a lot of lore around that particular medication. And ways to take it and ways to name it and call it, and it's wonderful. Um, Good. Thank you, Julie Elder, for being here. Thank you, Julie, and I'll be over there later too, probably. So hopefully, I'll see you. Thank you very much. Autumn is back. Yay! Let me put Autumn back in here. Um, there we go. Bye, Julie. Have a good time. I'll be over there soon. Um, Autumn, waiting for Autumn. Waiting for Autumn. Please have Autumn back. Oh, Autumn. Oh my gosh. That was scary. That was
I don't know
scary.
what happened. So I was getting ready to shift my screens for the news report and
Ah.
Substack just froze.
Oh no. Oh no. Well, I did my best to tap dance, and then I also mentioned that you called me out on missing the name or mispronouncing the name of my medication. I took your thunder. Um,
Oh, so you told them about the roid version of estrogen.
yes, exactly. The steroid version, because that's what I was saying. I was saying apparently a steroid name. I didn't know that instead of what it was. What is the correct medication? How do you pronounce it, honey?
It's progesterone.
Progesterone. That's
And
right.
don't ask me how to say the puberty blocker because I will slaughter that one.
Yeah. Um, anyway, so we may have to demonstrate that again so I can get the terms right, and then we can talk about what you do since you've been on it longer than me. So there might be some differences.
Yeah, I go to a different part of the body, so it's a
Yeah.
lot different type of injection as well.
Cool. So yeah, that'll be interesting. We can talk about that next time. And someone, there's some questions.
They
Thank
say that
you.
you
You made
are
my night.
absolutely fabulous, which I tell
Yeah.
her like 12 times a day. She just doesn't listen to me.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. Okay. So back to seriousness here with the program because we're going to, of course, talk about Juniper. So, are we going to go do that now, hon? Or
Yeah, let me pull up the screen real quick. Make
sure.
sure we don't get kicked off here again because I'm not
Mhm.
sure what Substack was doing there.
Okay.
Um,
Mhm. Oh, okay.
okay. So, for those of you, let me adjust my mic here because I need to get a little closer to my computer. For those of y'all that have not heard, this is Juniper Blessing. Today, we're discussing the heartbreaking case that has shocked the University of Washington community and beyond. On May 10th, 2026, 19-year-old Juniper Blessing, a transgender University of Washington student, was found dead in a laundry room in the Nordholm Court
Northern.
Apartments,
Mhm.
and this is a off campus housing complex near the university. And we're just going to explore some of the details. So, first of all, we're going to look at the background of who Juniper was, and go from there. Please
Mhm.
bear with me. I'm
Yeah.
switching screens, and everything is lagging. But basically, Juniper was more than just a victim. She was a vibrant young woman with a bright future ahead of her.
Mhm. Yeah.
She was originally from New Jersey, and then she she attended Littlebrook School and Princeton Middle School before moving to Santa Fe, New Mexico in
Mhm.
2018,
Mhm.
where she was an alumni for the I'm sorry, New Mexico School for the Arts in Santa Fe, where her family described her as being a talented singer.
Mhm.
At the University of Washington, she was studying atmospheric science. So,
She wanted to be a
background in
meteorologist. She had a
weather.
love of
Yep.
meteorology, right? Yeah.
Which anybody, I can see why. Weather is amazing. Um, excuse me.
Me too. Yeah.
And she also sang alto in the choir. Her family described her as simply the most amazing human being we've ever known. Highly intelligent, extremely talented, and deeply sensitive to the needs of others.
Mhm.
In a statement released through the Santa Fe Human Rights Alliance, her family wrote, Juniper's loss is not just devastating us, but diminishes the world.
Yeah.
Perhaps the most important thing, as her family emphasized, was Juniper was courageously living her life as who she was until it was cut tragically short.
Yeah, and that's why we're celebrating the fact, well, not celebrating, it's a horrible way to say it, but, some news agencies refused to mention that she was transgender. They were playing that off. They were just calling her a young woman. She is a member of our community. She was proudly a member of our community, and we're celebrating the life that she lived, which was so tragically cut short by keeping that part of her identity. And thankfully, her parents seem to be on board with that because often with what is the case is that we would be buried under our dead names rather than on who we are. So, um,
Yeah, and I redacted it. A lot of news sources still
mhm.
included her dead name, which I still
Which
thought was
disgusts me, but
inappropriate.
yeah, yeah,
So I made
yeah.
sure we redacted it in ours because
Yes,
that's none of our business.
it isn't. Yeah, true.
And so, anyway, on the evening of May 10th, 2026, tragedy struck around 10:10 p.m. Jennifer was found on the floor in the laundry room at her apartments, covered in blood. According to court documents, she had been stabbed over 40 times.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, and to various parts of her body repeatedly. Yeah,
yeah. Security footage from the apartment complex captured crucial evidence. A video from 10 p.m. showed Juniper in the laundry room, after which the suspect comes back into the laundry room and stares directly into the camera. Detectives said that the suspect appeared to remain inside the room for several minutes before later exiting alone. Another resident later discovered Juniper's body. The University of Washington community was immediately alerted to the incident, and Seattle police launched an investigation, releasing surveillance images of a man wearing a blue zippered top and eyeglasses, which they will get into it, but they did find him later.
yeah. He turned himself in. He's actually his brother identified him to the police, and then he and his family, his mother and father, went to the police station. The killer
Ye-
or the accused, and yeah,
Yeah, that happened on the 13th. It was 3 days after the murder. His
mhm,
identification was all over the news at that point, and, from the sources I said, it said it was his brother and his parents that
yeah,
actually turned him into custody,
yeah.
and, I believe he was originally detained in Bellevue and later transported to Seattle.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, so I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit since we covered that. Now, while the investigation is ongoing, there's a couple of things that bug me about this. So first of all, Lely's defense attorney, Todd Maybrown, stated that during the hearing that there was insufficient evidence for murder in the first degree.
Uh,
Though the judge found probable cause to charge him.
yeah.
As
You
is customary for the first appearance, former charges have not yet been filed at this time. And I think, what did we hear? Arraignment was Monday?
So they did the bail setting. His bail was set at $10 million, based on the premeditation, believe the unplugging of the camera prior to the because that's one of the facts that the camera itself was unplugged, but it had an internal SD card and an internal battery. So he didn't see that even though it had been unplugged, it was still operating based off of what was in that internal drive, and that's how they got his the images of him. Um, but they've at least pled the charges such that that shows premeditation, which is the reason why the first degree murder. So, of course, the number of stabbing wounds. But yes,
Yeah, I mean, I've heard back and forth. Of course, the rhetoric online's been absolutely disgusting this week
yes, it's been
with this
horrific,
case, and
absolutely horrific. No,
especially what MAGA's saying. There was
Meg,
this.
I'm sorry, but this is a child. This is a 19-year-old child, and if you can't put whatever is your hatred behind for people like us to at least recognize the humanity and the enormous suffering that this child went through as a result of this horrific killing, if you can't at least identify with that, then frankly, you've lost your fucking souls. Because the things that I've seen online from people have been horrific, and essentially mount all the way up to as a good start kind of stuff, and that, fuck you. I'm sorry, but that's just
Well, I mean, we
disgusting.
already know the other half of this argument. I mean, let's go back to the Charlie Kirk situation when that happened. Like, MAGA was up in arms if anybody said anything relating to Charlie Kirk online.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
now we're seeing this person who, was tragically murdered, and oh, it's okay to say anything and everything we want because that's First Amendment rights.
Yeah, well, yelling at another person is not First Amendment, it's the government telling you you can't talk. It has nothing to I can go ahead and tell you to shut the fuck up anytime I want. I'm not the government, but, yeah,
And that's
um
why we're on Substack for this show.
right, exactly. So anyway, not to make light of this horrific thing, but it's just, I unfortunately spend a little bit of time on Facebook because I have to for the radio show, and that is just an absolute cesspool. And I'm not sure that half of the people that I'm talking to are saying these things are even human. They might be bots, but there's some horrific stuff being said out there about this crime and this her about the victim.
Oh,
Of
yeah, I'm putting a whole, slideshow together of those images.
mhm,
I'm
mhm.
not the greatest at slides, so it's gonna take me a minute to edit it, but I'm gonna put that video out there just to kinda
Yeah,
show the world because that's what
let
I've
people
been
see that
dealing with
hate.
all week on this case.
Yeah. But one of the things, obviously it's devastating to our community, but the kicker to it, of course, is that Turning Point was, scheduled to be on campus, and they turned it around by saying, oh, we're not going because of Antifa, activists out there being all aggressive, which, to me only took away from the mainstream media coverage of this. It made it about Turning Point USA and not about the horrific murder of a 19-year-old trans girl. Despite turning points, I'm not going to say noble because fuck them, but despite the fact that they, decided not to speak so quickly after her murder, they're still making sort of political points in the mainstream media because of that, and that sucks too because they are one of the prime components of this hate that's being broadcast about us. Um, so anyway, yeah. Go ahead, Autumn. Thank you for letting me ramble again.
Have your moment. Everybody
Oh yeah.
deserves to have it,
Oh,
especially on a
oh,
topic like this.
yeah.
So,
Hello, decorations.
while the investigation is ongoing, many in the community are wondering about motives behind this brutal attack at this stage. Law enforcement has not officially released information about a possible motive, but
Mhm,
also any or about any prior relationships with the victim and the perpetrator.
mhm,
What we do know is that Jennifer is a transgender woman, and her
yeah,
murder occurred in a laundromat on student housing. The brutal attack with over 40 stab wounds suggests that this was a extreme violent act,
Yeah.
though whether this was a targeted hate crime remains to be officially determined.
Mhm.
Now, the trans community faces disproportionately higher rates of violence, specifically with trans women of color being particularly vulnerable. While
Yes.
we cannot speculate on the specific motive in this case without official information, the intersection of Juniper's identity and the nature of the attack raises important questions about safety for transgender individuals.
Mhm.
Her death is not just an isolated tragedy, it's part of a disturbing pattern of violence against transgender individuals, particularly transgender women, according to the Human Rights Campaign and other organizations tracking violence against transgender and non gender conforming people in 2025.
Yeah. Yeah, and, what I don't know if we're still you wanna be in the bubble here for this part, or are you finished, or,
I
uh
can pretty much back out. I mean, that was the main point I wanted to get in there at the end is, this is an ongoing problem that we're seeing.
Yeah, no, and you're absolutely correct, Autumn, and thank you so much for putting that together. I appreciate that. It is a problem that our community is seeing, especially as you mentioned, BIPOC and brown and black trans women of color. They see disproportionate amounts of violence than what we see. We still see high violence too, and it isn't the rhetoric doesn't help by any means. And um, One of the things that I lost my train of thought. I was gonna say something on 'em, but you're making me nervous. So are you okay over there, hon?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, because that's a heavy story to read, so, yeah. And thank you for doing that. Um, One of the things that was notable, at least is notable to me, is that we have such violence against our community that we talk about these things, and yet our government, rather than responding by trying to, alert people of that or make that people aware, or denying that we even exist, and essentially naming people like me, radical pro transgender people, domestic terrorists. I mean, I'm trans, so I'm obviously radically pro me. Um, you know, but by that definition, makes me a terrorist, a domestic terrorist. I have no ill will to my country. I love my country, but by definition, just because I'm radically pro me and my community, that's a pretty scary definition. If that's the case, then that's the case because I'm not going to stop. But To see that kind of response and the removal of gender from crime statistics so that we will be erased even further in future studies, and the violence against us will be completely statistically removed. It's scary to be erased that way statistically, and then to be declared a criminal or a danger to the great country that we're just trying to survive in, is equally horrific. Anyway,
Well,
um,
I'm gonna take a minute and just
yeah.
recognize, Shayla Pookie's, response, and, thank you for being an ally, and also, your Antifa check should be in the mail.
Wait, is HR back up and running?
I heard HR is back. I mean, I still haven't seen my check, but, they always get to the talent last.
Oh, that would the talent. Oh my god, is that where we are? Okay, cool. No, that's I get when it comes to the conceptual nation of what Antifa is, I am obviously anti-fascist. My father fought, or my great grandfather fought in World War II, both sides. So, I'm proud of the fact that they fought against the fascists. Literally because they went, through Italy. I'm, all the way up into, but uh, so I just
Well,
find
I
it
was
funny
gonna
that we like to joke about it being an actual brick and mortar, some kind of thing with an HR department and a president and all that crap.
I
um,
mean, they keep it's just playing into the rhetoric at this point since,
yeah,
all our
yeah,
signs are exactly the same.
right, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Ah.
yeah. Well, if there is a if people are getting paid to stand at protests, good for them. But I'm there because I want to be. Anyway, go ahead.
I was gonna say, they call us, Antifa, but I remember when I took my, oath to the
Trans Tifa.
United
We're trans Tifa, honey. We're
that's
trans Tifa. Branding is everything.
hey, we're not supposed to talk the new show yet. It's not online.
No, no, no.
Trans Tifa Wives of Portland coming this fall.
Yeah, right? Trans Tifa wives. Yeah. Um,
No, I was just laughing. I'm like, I love how they call us Antifa because I know you did this and I did this as well. I was
mhm.
standing in a room at Fort Sam, Houston, San
Yeah,
Antonio in October of 2020 or 2004, excuse me,
yeah,
and swearing my allegiance to the Constitution of the United States as a U.S. soldier. So I
yeah.
know where I stand as far as being a patriot and protecting my country.
Yeah. No, I did the same thing, except it was a bit earlier in time, and and I'm a combat veteran, so I've come to the grips with I was willing to put my life on the line for this country, and I'm still willing to put my life on the line for this country. If I regret have put one life to give for my country and for my community. But this is just it's just disgusting. What's happening in America, and I think we all feel that way, and we all feel exhausted from it. It just doesn't seem to be ending. And, it will end soon, hopefully, very soon.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm loving the camaraderie that we're seeing during these times because yes, we're dealing with some difficult times right now. But
Mhm, mhm.
and you
Yeah,
saw this when we were, talking about doing the Pride event
yeah,
and just concern of hey, there may be a mega turnout, and being able to have so many different people from so many different backgrounds that are willing to join a cause.
mhm, mhm.
Whether they're supporting us at Pride or we're supporting them at a Black Lives Matter march, it's the community coming together, and that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, no, and that, and building community is important, and community builders are important. Everybody participates in their own way for which they can, so, and if it's your ability to be out at a No Kings protest, then thank you for doing that, if that's what you can do, if it's, avoiding big box stores that support this particular government, or boycotting those kind of places, thank you and good for you. And, but it's, unprecedented times we're dealing with here, obviously. Um, and one of the things that I think that we had wanted to talk about, if I remember correctly, involving those unprecedented times, is of course, the the movement of the trans and non-binary and gender non-conforming people across the United States. And I know here in the Portland area, there are two queer organizations, primarily two primary queer organizations, the Marie Aqua Center and the Q Center. And I know that the Marie Aqua Center has funding issues with the county, and this is not a time for counties to be thinking we could cut money from these queer organizations because the waves are coming. It's unfortunately the nature of the time that we're living in. And I really do want these communities to be prepared because the, it's hard enough to leave your home under hateful circumstances and hateful, reasons, and then arrive at a place, um, and have difficulty getting housing, emergency housing, because we're not like we're all overemployed. We're not exactly rolling in money in the trans community. So you're grabbing what you can and going, and so there are organizations that exist that help in these situations because it's not like there haven't been red states before, but these organizations are being overwhelmed, and I think it's important to uh, highlight the fact that we're coming. I guess there's no other better way to say it.
I mean, all these organizations are being overrun because we're watching a line being drawn. State after state is coming
Mhm.
out with bathroom bills or
And the federal,
taking
yeah,
trans identity away from you, where you can't even have a driver's license without seeing your dead name and misrepresenting who you
mhm,
are.
mhm,
Because if you look at the guidelines behind the DMV picture, it's all about present as you are on a daily basis.
mhm.
So you're gonna put a male marker on somebody who, presents feminine? We
Yeah,
don't have a problem with this? Really? I think
right.
we need to look back at this.
Yeah, it's a dangerous situation. I mean, I just flew recently. I had to go to Richmond, Virginia, which was a wonderful place. I'd never been there before, and I was terrified to fly. I was terrified to go into TSA. I was terrified to surrender myself into federal jurisdiction for the entire time that I would be in the airport on the air or in the air. And luckily, my experience with TSA was rather mild. But I have a gender marker X on my real ID, and so I got a few looks, especially in but overall, it was okay, but it could be highly dangerous. I don't pass, so it's not like an issue. But if I were a passing girl and then had an M on something, they would have to explain that, and that can be dangerous, and that can be, people can hear that, and so That's one of those issues. Not only is it embarrassing, but it's just unsafe. And so anyway, I don't know where I was going with that, but
I mean, TSA has never been good about following the law anyway. I mean, back under the Biden
I can't say that.
administration, I got harassed at the Austin airport and literally had to talk to a head of TSA because I was frisked by a male, even though on my identification presented as female. So, and
Yeah,
this was under Obama term laws. So, I mean, Biden term laws. So,
yeah,
I think TSA has always been an issue, and now they're just being enabled by how our administration's running things.
yeah. Your connection's a little strange, but yeah. Anytime somebody gets to touch us, I don't like it at all. Any way, shape, or form. I understand that you have to be patted down sometime, but if you're going to do it, at least I just don't think people should touch us. But if it is, please have it be someone with the sex or similar to our identification. Um, I didn't
Exactly.
get when I had to get patted down going out. The a wonderful black woman who was standing there. They didn't give me a choice of who I wanted to be patted down by. She just said, "Come here, honey," and I went. And she did my waistband because I had a belt on, some buckles that I guess flashed off, and and she was wonderful. But she didn't give me a choice, and she didn't let the guy say anything who was standing next to her, who looked like he was terrified of having to touch me. So I appreciated that. Anyway,
Let people live. I'm going to leave it at that.
yeah,
Let people live.
yeah. I mean, I understand the nature and need for why we have to have security at airport, unfortunately, in the United States. But um, it's bad enough for everybody involved, and if it gets even weirder because some dudes may have like my boobs, I'm gonna get really upset. I mean, I don't know what that looks like at an airport. It probably just looks like me turning really red, but I don't
I
know.
apologize in advance the next time I fly if you were with me, because if that happens, I will cause a scene. I'm just letting
Mm.
you know.
Right? You go, girl. Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is so what we're hearing, at least from the institutions here, like Maria Center and the Q Center, is that they're getting an increase in requests in relocation help. People seeking emergency temporary housing, for finding out HRT info for where they could get their prescriptions filled and where they could get their health care, what providers. Uh, and There's also a need for legal support because some of the people coming may have issues legally, either with their legal transition or with issues from where they're coming from. And so these are all things that are sort of beginning to drain heavily on the queer organizations in the Pacific Northwest. And as I mentioned earlier, Seattle itself is now considering having to reach into its emergency funding, its emergency fund, because of the influx of people and the fact that the institutions and organizations and charities that are in place are just being overwhelmed. And that's, of course, not being covered in any of the mainstream media. But
Well, I mean, as soon as you go outside of the United States, there's genocide warnings all over the
yeah,
internet.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
just not hearing about them here for
yeah,
obvious reasons.
yeah. Hey, but we got good news from coming out of England. I mean, at least
Hey,
Miss Rollins
hey.
now represented by a trans person. So yay. So we'll take our small victories where we can, even if they're petty. um,
Rainbow power.
Yeah, there you go. And then, Health and Human Services got turned over to someone who's trans friendly and trans rights oriented. So hopefully things will get better for our siblings in the UK. Not sure it will.
Save
Unfortunately,
us a basement. We may need it.
yeah, right. Turf Island is Turf Island, and that's what it is. But um,
Hey, we could, if there's enough of us, and especially if we start having like trans immigrants, we could just go circle the island, and
yeah, yeah. Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, that's all we need. No, but that does
just
bring
an
up another
idea,
point.
not Antifa here.
Yeah, no, but that does bring up my other point. One of the things that statistically is known about our community is that we tend to vote. We tend to vote a lot. We vote consistently in local elections all the way up. We are constantly at the polls, and if we are able to continue to vote, then having some masses of trans communities. If Seattle were to become, not like San Francisco was known for being, for to some people known as a city, or at least certainly had a thriving gay community, which helped in a certain period of time. If enough of us in one location is voting power, and that's able to save some, or at least have a voice in some local elections. Because right now we're spread out so much across the country that despite the fact we vote a lot, it's sort of a drop in the bucket. But if we are consolidated and get some candidates who can fight for us, we may be able to have some effective representation in these cities. So, as hard as it is and difficult as it is for our community to have to leave, I know Autumn, you want to say something. I could tell you really practically rolling your eyes, like biting the bed. You're like, shut up, Samantha, so I can say something. But as hard as this is and as difficult as this is, and it's easy for me to say I'm already here. I already made my relocation. Autumn made hers on the first half of the way. She's from Texas too. So we understand. We made it under a little earlier circumstances when let haste needed, but we understand. But I would love to see us consolidate in some ways, so that we can have some voice in our local elections and community. There, I'll get off my high horse so Autumn can now go, Autumn, go, Autumn, go, Autumn.
And I mean, I was going to tag into me moving here in 23. That was when the political climate was just starting to turn bad. I mean,
Yeah,
nowhere
yeah,
close to what we're seeing now.
uh-huh,
And, what I'm hoping is exactly what you were saying as far as our community being the ones that show up, we're active, we vote, we engage. Like,
yeah.
you know, how awesome would it be if our community bands together with our allies and all these redistricting that Margaret is trying to do?
Oh, I don't think
What
I'll have the voting power to do that, but that would be really cool. That would be really. I mean, I
I
hope that
mean,
we can get a trans district, here in Vancouver. I mean, the only one in the United States is in San Francisco. I'd love to have another one here in Seattle, or I'd love to have one in numerous cities across America. But I think that it would be nice to have, um, you know, some political
well, I
power
mean,
here.
we could just do a no kings protest at the voting polls. There you go. Just have like 10 million strong show up to the polls. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you have a protest
I'll have
on
to send
election
that one
day.
to HR too.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, we're just kind of rambling now, aren't we? Um,
Mm, just try to put a little comedy to it.
no, I appreciate that. This is not the easiest episode, of course, because of what we had to discuss in terms of Jennifer Blessing, but um,
But on to prom,
stop killing us. I mean, God damn it. Please just stop killing us. Please.
we
It's like,
just want to live
stop.
our lives.
No, it's wow. Anyway, um,
Yeah, I'm gonna feed off what Samantha said there. I've been on this planet over 40 years, and I think this is the first time I've genuinely been concerned. Sometimes when I'm walking outside, I mean, me and Samantha had to have a strategy on just what our bathroom plan was to go to prom on Friday night, just because we
yeah.
were heading into MAGA country.
We had, yeah, to drive to Kelso. It was I'll call it a road trip. It was a road trip, and we had to have plans because if we had to use the restroom or if something happened, at a truck stop someplace, we weren't, really excited about going into that stuff. Whereas before, anyway, I don't want to go off on that. Let's change the subject for a moment, if we can, and talk about Pride next weekend. So we're going to Tiger, 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 Tigger,
Like,
Tiger, Tiger,
it did work
Tiger,
too.
Tiger Pride, which is a suburb here of Portland. Um,
Yeah.
how would you describe it? Purple, red, or blue?
Definitely purple.
Okay.
I was the
Yeah.
manager for my old company at a store there and definitely dealt with my share of people that did not agree with our existence.
Okay. So we're going to a purple pride
We are going
parade.
to Purple Pride.
Yeah, and we're also going to be doing another slumber party, but this time at your place, for a movie that we're going to be watching and reviewing next week. And I've not seen this movie. I know nothing about this movie. Somebody asked me a question about this movie, and I told them I have no idea. But this is the movie we're going to watch. Let's go, girl. Tell us.
So first of all, the person that asked Samantha about the movie was my roommate, and I'm pretty sure she just gave him an answer to frustrate him, but that's okay. That's what we do best. Um,
Yeah, he's
so
learning about
actually,
us.
it came up because we were planning this slumber party, and we had the Pride event next week, and I have a ally that's going to be hanging out with us that weekend too. And my roommate, who is a cis straight male, brought up Tu Wong Fu, and I hadn't chose the movie yet, and I was like, yeah, why not? So we're
Mhm.
gonna watch Tu Wong Fu next week, and funny thing is, it's gonna be 3 girls and a guy watching it, so we'll make sure we torture him the entire
Oh yeah.
time.
I love this plant. Oh my god. Eric's got a good heart, but he's learning, he's learning.
Eric has come a long way, I'll give him
Yeah,
credit, but,
yeah,
it's a learning process, and when you're not taught, at
mhm,
least he's willing to have a conversation. Now, granted,
yes,
those debates can get pretty intense, but he's willing to sit down and have a debate, so
yeah,
there's always hope at that point.
right, yeah, no, it's when they're not screaming at you, there's a chance that you might communicate, that's true. Or if they ask you a question instead of tell you who you are, that's always good too. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, Saturday's prom event, 2 to 5 p.m. in Tigert.
No, no,
I
no,
do not have
not pride. That's not prom. The pride. Did you say prom event or is that me?
maybe I did. I will
Say it again.
rephrase. Pride, like I said, very long weekend, sorry, folks. So Pride is 2 to 5 p.m. next week. Hopefully, we will have the technology issues solved with our, equipment so we can go live. My goal is to broadcast the parade that starts at 2, and then we'll be following up at I believe they're hosting at the high school, so the main festival will be at the high school.
Okay.
And,
Well, yeah, that's right.
I
No vendors. All these other things will be there.
yes, I've heard, I haven't heard a sure number on it, but it sounds to
Mhm.
be, 20 to 30 vendors, other booths,
Oh,
food
great.
and concessions, so it'll be a full
Well,
pride event.
yeah. No, it's gonna be wonderful, and especially I mean, Long Beach canceled theirs short notice, so that's rather unfortunately unfortunate. So it's nice to see a purple area actually. The pride. That's a neat bag.
In
Uh,
other words, Long Beach, you can do better.
Yeah, hell yeah. If Tiger could do one, hell yeah. No, 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 I don't mean to diss Tiger because it's a wonderful community. So, uh, but
No, I'm actually really excited about this because I have to look back at the history and see how long Tigrit's been doing theirs. I know it is a
mhm,
smaller purple city,
yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
kinda excited because when we did this, I took part of this in Round Rock in 2022.
Mm, mhm.
So we're fresh coming out of the COVID pandemic, everybody's back
Oh, well,
outside, and
right. Well,
Round
yeah.
Rock, which is a very, we'll call it red city in Texas, very small, conservative group, hosted Pride for the first time. We literally packed out. They did it in this little tiny courtyard behind City Hall, thinking that was gonna be enough space for us.
Uh-huh.
So, we packed out the main area, the side street, the street in front of City Hall, and concessions were completely sold out by 2 o'clock.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, showed up. Community
So,
showed up.
the queer community showed up in power, and I'm hoping that's
Yeah.
what we're gonna do next week at,
Yeah.
Tiger, and if things work out, we're also gonna get to do a live show with some of the more famous protesters from Portland hanging out with us, so
And that's on
fingers
the
crossed.
radio. Yeah, that's going to be a two-parter radio show. Is that true, or are we doing
So,
that?
that's leading into the
Mhm.
two-parters, so we're still in the works on this, but I guess we're far enough along that we can kinda tease it a little bit. So, I have been working on the logistics of getting some of the more recognized protesters from the Portland ICE facility. We're gonna sit down at the KXRW studios with myself and Samantha Paige, and we're gonna have a 2-hour special, so you'll have to tune into both of our shows to catch part 1 and 2.
Oh wow.
And
It's almost like we planned it.
right? And, we're gonna have a really open discussion with them and what they're seeing on there. I know if you go on TikTok, one of the people that we're having his, street name is Hawkeye Pierce, and he's, one of the ones that, trains medics down there on how to, do life-saving techniques and
And wash people's
situations.
eyes out and stuff like that, and,
Oh,
um,
we're not even talking about that. You don't know how many sets of eyes I've deconned at the ICE
right.
facility,
R
but,
right, but this gentleman
yeah, so they do that, he does, just all kinds of amazing, field medic training, and recently, he was severely manhandled by ICE. I mean, there's videos all over the
was that
internet, and basically what happens, you see this ICE agent not pay attention to his surroundings, bump into this medic, and then violently attack this medic because he ran into him.
and I
So
think
again go
based on
ahead.
the gentleman's name, Hawkeye Pierce, that puts him in a certain age category for those of you who watched MASH growing up, so this is an older gentleman, this is not some younger gentleman, yeah.
No, I don't wanna give too much away about his story yet, but, one of the things he, prides himself on is he points out, "Look, this happened to me. I'm a middle-aged white cis male."
Mhm.
and this happened to me at ICE.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So anyway, I guess, yeah, thank you for putting that together, Autumn. So if I just sum up what you've basically said, if I so I can make sure I understand what we're gonna be, um, and we're gonna be at Pride on Saturday in Tiger, and you're gonna be trying to broadcast the parade on your Substack channel, correct?
that is right.
Okay.
As long as we have a decent signal, we were attempting that at
Mhm.
Pride, but we ran into some issues with signal and technology. So
Yeah.
hopefully we will do better this week.
Right. And then, and the other thing that we have planned is the radio two-part radio show, involving some of the protest people here and the leaders of the protests, or I guess leaders, people involved. I don't know if leaders. I don't even know. So
I
I'm just
mean, they're
showing up and
just
being pretty, right? That's I mean, what am I supposed to do?
well, I mean, it's just gonna be an open roundtable discussion, but they're
Great. Do they like nail polish? Are we going to talk about what kind of nail polish they use? I will. I mean, what am I going to contribute to this, Autumn? What? I'll try. I mean, obviously, I'll try. I'll give it the old college try. So, yeah.
you'll probably think of questions I won't think of. You
Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, I have a lot of questions on what it's like to live there practically 24/7 for weeks. So, yeah, because it's
well, there
dedicated. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you for inviting me to be a part of that. I'm sorry that I got a little weird there with that and just showed some drama,
I'm
but
just well, it's gonna be a challenging episode, so,
mhm,
and
mhm.
for y'all listening, we're gonna have a little side conversation here. There's a lot of work that goes behind the production of being on Substack, being on the radio, so,
Is there?
sometimes
I know you work really hard. I'm just saying. You should tell me how much work you're doing. You were doing that, and I interrupted you. I'm so sorry.
well,
I
you
only
were be
benefit from this. So,
hey,
no.
you were behind the camera on Friday night.
Oh
I mean,
yes,
I couldn't have got my interviews done without you,
I was helping.
behind the
I was
camera,
helping.
so
I helped.
I think there was even a time I was like I had to step away from somebody and I, put Samantha as my producer. I was like, "I need to go talk to my producer real quick. I'll be right back."
It's my ears are burning. What? Oh man. But yeah, so yeah, and Autumn, you do a lot of work to make things happen here, and I appreciate it. And you do a lot of work, bring up the interviews. Um, yeah, you by far do more than I do on my own show. So thank you. Um, I wouldn't do the same without you. And who introduced your friend since you have your friend with you?
I actually haven't named this one yet, so this is my
Uh,
other Pride lamb chop.
okay,
So
yeah.
the I have the pure rainbow one. His name is Chops, but this one I haven't actually named yet. So still
Okay.
working on that.
We'll update next week, hopefully, or something. Who knows? Um,
I mean, we
but
had to finish out the slumber party with the stuffy, right?
right, well, of course, you need stuff for your slumber party. And I guess, yeah, pajamas. Which I don't have, so I guess I'll have to get some pajamas. But I wanted to mention, and closing before we leave, that I'm excited about the May 21st on Thursday. Um, Having Defense Trans on my Substack. For those of you who don't know who Defense Trans is, they are a TikTok content creator who answers questions about trans people. And they know what they're talking about. And I'm looking forward to having them on. And we've decided to do sort of a half and half show where I will ask them silly questions about what their life is like and how they grew up, and then also do half a show with questions from comments in the audience. And we'll have Autumn there to read the comments and be the moderator of the comment area. So please remember on Thursday, if it's 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern, if you'd like to tune in, if you have questions, if you have friends who are trans or non-binary, and you have questions about how you can better support them or how you could, possibly reach out to them, or maybe it's a Miss Manners type question that you just have, or something more significant like a child or a loved one. Please come prepared. They definitely know what they're talking about, and they definitely know some wonderful information. And if they don't know it, they know where to point you to get that information. So please join. We're going to hopefully Defense Trans, Mina and I will talk about music, and we'll talk about what it was like with her growing up, and possibly get into a little bit about her identity or their identity as a non-binary trans femme and what that means. Because I am a binary trans woman and what those distinctions are, and we'll talk a little about those. And I don't be there to pull my feet out of the fire if I get crazy because I'm a fan. So it'll be good. But I recommend please, if you get the time and you can, join in, have some questions ready. And I look forward to seeing you all then. Until then, Autumn, what's your sign off?
Real quick before sign off, please stay tuned to the Stories from Transwitch on KXRW and Facebook. Have some exciting shows coming up there. You'll see some of my independent work, and also we're going to be doing a more intense version of the prom show, so we'll have that fully intact there.
Yeah.
Also, please check out the amazing Samantha Page on KXRW and Substack as she continues to deliver her awesome content as well.
Really? What did we okay, let's just go with that. Let's go with that. Thank you so much, Autumn. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone on Substack who comments on my posts or who likes the things that I share, and who join us here on these lives. I love talking to everyone. What's that face? What are you doing there? What? Okay.
I I'm just happy to be here.
All right. She's like, I've spent 3 days with you. I'm so glad to be in a different room. No.
I was telling Samantha we're gonna have to do a behind the sscenes one of these nights as
Yeah.
far as our
Yeah.
process to movie review. Y'all
Right.
y'all get a treat on that one.
Yeah, there we go. But I want to thank everyone for joining us, and thank you for your hearts and your likes to the things that I post in the comments, and for taking time out of your day to join us when we do this silly show. But we love you. If you're family or friends, we love you. Obviously, thank you so much for being allies, and to the siblings out there, you're valid, you're loved. Things will get better. We will get through this, and we will find a way. Love always does. So we'll see you, and I hope to see you very soon on Substack. And please, if you see me in the comment section, say hi. I love you all. All right, bye.
And until next time, I'll see you in the candlelight.
Good to go. All right, bye bye.